For the last 3 years, I've sent a greeting telegram from all of us. This year, we're laying it on a bit more. We have similar things from New York and from New Zealand. And New Zealand have also subscribed together and made a collection. So they've sent a check for 2,000 fees to his Sanskrit school at the ashram. My own cable was to Benares, to our interpreter Jasper, and this is the answer.
Yes, Jasper says that he immediately conveyed your gracious message to His Holiness, and he responded with great appreciation and has asked me to convey his blessing to you. He is planning to stay in New Delhi during this monsoon season and will have the ceremony of Guru Puja on the 11th of July. I'm afraid I won't be present in time, but I will surely pay a visit to him on my way back to London.
Obviously, for different cities, it has to be a movable piece. The Allahabad one is usually the 4th of July. This one in Benares is the 6th. And the New Delhi one is a little later. Anyway, I hope you'll agree that we owe him about everything we have. This is only a very small way of thanking him. The real thank you, as he so often says, is whether anybody realizes his possibilities and whether we do the meditation well. So, in terms of that, I want to introduce you to some new aspects of meditation in relation to self-realization. And this is for all of us, but especially for those who only meditate and don't come to anything else in this house, because it's very important that they should realize that meditation is not a hit or miss process, according to what one happens to feel like, but to get something permanent, one has to be systematic about receiving help, asking for help, receiving help regularly. And that systematic process is the third step of the ladder of self-realization. Have you heard me so far? The first step, you'll remember, are the good impulses that all of us here have got so often, right back into childhood. Intimations of immortality, we might call them, many different forms. Then in everyone's life, there comes a time when they really feel they must do something about these impulses. They realize how fleeting and evanescent they are. They may get alarmed because they seem to be fading out. So they come to the second step of the ladder, which is a resolution to do something about it. And they may have quite a long search. They try this and that. But the lucky ones usually have some friend connected with something real. And that's a very big shortcut. And most of us, I think, are in that situation. and through some friend we have come and started to meditate and come into this third step. It's called sadhana, this third step, for which there's no English equivalent. And so there is always great difficulty about understanding what it means. We've asked several times, and on one occasion, when we got very tired of the habit our translator had of always calling the English equivalent discipline, according to his own ideas about discipline, we asked what the real meaning was. We put it this way: the third step of the ladder, sadhana, is difficult to understand in English because there is no equivalent. Recently, the meaning has been made clearer by hearing of examples of different kinds of sadhana for different types of people. It's not always the same for everybody. Would Your Holiness enlarge our understanding of this? And he said, the word sadhana is derived from sad, which means to help to realize, S-A-D-H, to help to realize. And in the process of self-realization, whatever helps to hold the person and prevent him falling down or going lower is known as sadhana. The act of a teacher, a real guru, is to help people from falling down. The whole of nature is running down or falling down, running down like a battery that frequently needs recharging. And so, along with nature, people are like batteries who keep running down and need recharging. A teacher with his conscious knowledge and conscious action comes to help people, to hold them together and give them a systematic way of life to follow, so as to grow and realize themselves and their possibilities. The word sadhana, the third step of the ladder, therefore has different meanings, including to help, to hold, and to realize. All those three meanings. Now, are there any questions? We'd so much like the people that we've given our heart's blood to by trying to give the initiation as well as we possibly can, with a lot of people helping, everything. We'd very much like everyone we give it to make a success of it. We don't like people drifting off and then saying it's no good. So if there are any people who would like to know about this third step, people who don't come here regularly and so on, or go to groups or anything, we'd like questions from them particularly. There's no stigma attached to this. It's everybody's choice, what we do, what they do. It's the question of how to help, how to sustain. You look rather like boys at school who've been addressed by the headmaster or something and told they're going to have to stay in instead of playing games. It isn't really like that.
Flow in two directions. Yes. Ms. Reed says, it seems as though there's a flow in two directions like this. Is that right?
I don't quite see in which two directions. In me, during meditation, there's a flow in every possible direction. But what do you exactly meaning?
Yes. You were talking about the role of the teacher, and there was help
Oh,
from him,
I see.
but there was also a flow from us to the teacher.
Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Definitely, you're absolutely right. It's a two-way flow. And he gets benefit by promising meditators, and we get benefit in return from him. And this attitude of a two-way flow is the most promising one of all, because you're doing it more or less out of gratitude to him as representative of your own divine self. Very right. Well, until questions begin to surge up, I'd just like to bounce off for a moment. For some years now, we've been trying an experiment with children of 10. The children of people in the School of Economic Science, with His Holiness's encouragement, the age of 10 is, in fact, not arbitrary. It's rather a magical age. It's only said that we shouldn't give it before 10. But of course, children vary greatly in mental age, if you like, or in grown-upness. But still, we don't give it before the chronological age of 10. And it's strange that around that age they seem to take it without any difficulty. And even though they may not do it, apparently get anything, or His Holiness said that it leaves an effect for later. They come for all sorts of reasons, usually brothers, sisters, parents are meditators, and they come out of curiosity, and the things they put in their forms are, as usual, very amusing. On Sunday, we had quite a number of children, some who just put conventional things in their forms. One girl put, I want something that everybody's calling realization. The next one put quite simply, I want to become a mother. The third one, who was a boy, put in very correct School of Economic Science script. I want to be a priest. And then, in his own writing, he put, but I must have a horse. anyway, it's working out in a very interesting way because these families, the older ones are now meditating, or supposed to be, and then as each one comes along at 10, then they probably had some effect on the younger ones who are coming along after. It's all entirely voluntary, and the parents are asked not to snoop, not to probe and see if they're doing it or anything like that. It's left to them entirely, but it's suggested by me to them that they let their parents know from time to time how it's going and if they're in a difficulty. It might be that some people in the study society might like to think about that in the future. But it must only be with the kind of child who's always asking, what are you doing at college? Or questions which the parent finds it difficult to answer, and who the parent might feel would understand what it's all about. All right, that's the digression. Now, are there any questions about these 3 steps of the ladder? What is needed by all of us to support us, to sustain us when our batteries run down?
But the first step was what? No, I'm sorry, I'm not with them. Is that a system or method? A system of reference. A system or method, as you call it. Will you go on? Yeah.
Is connecting what you said about the 3rd step with a system or method, such as was referred to by Mr. Uspensky. And the result of the search for such a method is the meditation that's been made today.
Well, it's not only a technique, but in the way Mr. Uspensky used the word, it means a system of knowledge which is a whole, not fragmentary knowledge, but some knowledge which contains everything in plan into which you dip for particular purposes. And this is how the Shankaracharya uses it in relation to the knowledge which is needed to take the meditation the whole distance through the various steps, one-pointed meditation, transcendental meditation, samadhi, and turiya. It can take you the whole way. And for that, one needs systematic body of knowledge and systematic way of going about it. All right?
I think actually I caught the second half of the question, which perhaps Michael didn't. I think it was really if you could describe the method and how it is different from any other approach to self-realization.
Yes. Yes. The best description I've already written down for this meeting, which I want to give after we've meditated together a little later on. But briefly, whereas there are many things called meditation, We're only interested in the kind of meditation which goes from noise and movement to stillness. That's the first thing. Because the way we're taught to go about it is that we repeat a certain sound which has an affinity with the self or Atman in each person, always and everywhere, and that this self or Atman, this divine self, only manifests itself in silence. Therefore, we're interested in meditation as a means of coming to the silence and here and feeling, realizing the immediate presence of God, of the self. So, in a nutshell, that's the way one looks at this kind of meditation. And a lot of people in the world are giving this same kind of meditation, but in different ways to different kinds of people. The way we're asked to give it by the Shankaracharya is rather privately. As an individual relationship whereby you admit an individual to a great tradition which has gone on for 6,000 years and is based on the meditation. And we adapt the technique and the guidance after and everything to the individual. We don't have any mass baptisms or anything, christenings. Keep it individual. Everybody's different. Everybody has different nature and different needs. So there's two points for you to go on with. Have you answered that?
Yes.
Do go on asking questions because one learns so much from them.
Third step or first step? First.
Third.
Third. Martin says that he would like to become more receptive to the third step, but he finds it very difficult unless he's on holiday. Otherwise, he can't give enough time to it.
No, I don't think it's entirely that, Martin. I think if you did 2 minutes of perfect meditation, it would hold you up the whole day and the night after. And it's a question of really feeling where it's supposed to get you and how important it is. So that if in the course of a busy day you feel, now I can meditate for 2 minutes, you can go straight through to the silence. And I'm going to ask in a minute, when we've had some more questions, Lord Allen, to read you what is the real point of this third step, which I think will increase your feeling about it. But let's have some more questions.
You have talked it loud. How important is it to have regular check?
It's very different for different people and at different times to the same thing. What's important is that you should go at once and ask somebody if there is anything to lead you to suppose that you're not getting what you might be getting. If you've got into some sort of habit, we all do temporarily, don't be ashamed that, and don't take it hard that you're not meditating properly at the moment. But go and ask somebody at once. Checking by request, which is so important. But the other thing is, will you trust us enough to let us round you up if you think you're doing superbly, and yet show signs of ego? That is a great step forward. If you don't present it, we'll help.
I'm sorry, who's speaking? Anybody like to repeat that? Yeah, did you get it, Michael?
It says that the meaning of the third step is to help, to support, to self-realize. Does this mean that if you introduce somebody else to the meditation, that you have yourself reached the third step?
I'm not saying that, just starting off in this third step, that you're going to be able to support somebody else. I'm saying that you're in a position to get support, to go up 7 steps yourself. Nevertheless, a lot of people find that they take a good step forward if they introduce a friend who profits by this meditation, gives one a lift. And also, if they elect to help in one way or another, the giving and maintaining of the meditation. These things help. Come along, come along, come along. You know quite well that you know nothing, and I know nothing, and nobody knows anything. And why not blurt it out?
Yes. At the moment, I feel rather a reluctance to meditate because I fear that in the course of meditation, I may be forced to give up things that I feel are quite important to me.
Give them up for half an hour.
Uh,
Oh no, you won't be asked anything like that. No, I dare say this is quite a common doubt. The only thing you're asked to give up is nothing in your external or physical or sensory life at all. It's only give up some of the attitude you have towards it. That I am the doer of all this, that I am being very successful or I am being a failure. You're worrying about the future or going back into the past. You're doing unnecessary things which cast a burden on your mind. That's all you will ever have to give up, even when you're a great saint. So that's the little voice which on last Monday we ascribed to what is commonly called the devil. self-produced. But pay no attention.
No what? Nobody. Yes, yes.
Can you tell me your name?
It's
Yes, that's what I thought. I thought it was now. Good.
He was saying that one of the great things about meditation is that it requires no belief at all. And it requires a right attitude. But if you keep meditating, you get that attitude.
Yes. Meditate.
No,
Meditate.
meditate.
Because I've met people who kept levitating and they got that, not only that attitude, but they went up in the air. No, that's quite right. We keep out all belief or self-hypnosis, and we try to give the meditation without any suggestion or any putting ideas into people as to what might happen. So you're absolutely right. It's free from all that. In meditation, you're giving up on the subtle level during half an hour things which are preventing you feeling the presence of God. You're just dropping them off. Now remember, somebody's trying to repeat this, and we're all trying to keep awake.
Yeah. Well, shall I just put it so far?
So far.
Yeah. It's a Swen Prosser. You said some time ago that we should seek help if we feel we're not getting all we think we should from the meditation. And he says that he finds that while meditating, he very often has a mental thought, but he manages to return to the mantra, and that was as far as I got.
Well, may I stop there, Professor? It is this, that you are a thinky sort of person, and you are going on thinking with your dominant hemisphere the whole time, whether you're sitting up in front or sitting right at the back. And if you could divest yourself of this thinkery, you wouldn't need help from other people. The other hemisphere would take you through to the silence and the realization. Yes, counsel for the defense.
Sorry,
Oh, beg your pardon. Anyway.
I can't see it. So sorry.
May I ask you to put that question in one sentence to me? Put all that in one sentence now.
He would like time to consider it.
All right, you have time to consider it. I still think whatever his name is.
Yeah, Mr. Hesser, I always muddle through people.
Anyway, what we want to keep to is that we are here to have this lovely energy of sattva, which is destroyed by thinking, and to meditate together, which we will do as soon as we can, and to understand what the great point of the third step, the systematic help in regular meditation, is all about. I think that as it's now nearly 8, we should get on with that a little. We got at the main point of this third step at one meeting some time ago. Yes.
In 1970.
Yes. And it started with this question of mine.
Could it be said that a man's body
That's the higher part of his mind.
sets the general direction of a man's life, what he goes for? And will it follow that when you say that the man's last desire sets the pattern for his next life, this is due to how his body is pointing at that time? And the Shankaracharya said, what you say is true, but changes in direction also occur. And all through life, in changing climates, circumstances and the like, circumstances and likes and dislikes, some ideas get built in.
He might
like several of them,
but
one of them is most dear to him. And at the last moment, this dearest thing stays with him and sets a sort of new pattern for his next life. The question, is this last desire intentional or accidental? Reply, the last desire is the climax of all our strivings and beliefs. If one has undergone a systematic life with sadhana and has managed to live enough of this life in a conscious state, then such a man will have a desire of conscious origin, whereas others just accidentally actuate any one of these many desires. It doesn't much matter which, because they all originate in ignorance.
Yes.
And then,
that's right. You can either just trust to luck, and then your last desire before death will be a haphazard one. Just any other thing might come up. As a doctor, I've often said to people when they were dying, and I named the difference between the ones who just get at that important moment, there's fun and little haphazard things, and the ones who you know are at the supreme height of their longing for God or the self. It's a time before death when everything is stripped away from you, and where something in you reviews the whole of your life. And at such a moment, if you've got something which you've prepared, for instance, that you think of the Supreme Being and not of anything petty like oneself, then this will make a vast amount of difference. Of that I'm sure. Mr. Rutensky, for instance, orientated the whole of the last months of his life to getting into that kind of state. And I sat with him the whole night as he was dying, and he was there. So now, this is a point, Martin, where you can try and think about this very regularly and value the honoring of the impulse to meditate whenever you can, because of this importance of something permanent changing in you at the third step, something permanent, becoming permanent in you at the third step. Before that, nothing is permanent. Now, should we meditate? I wondered whether the window open. It's a question of being able to breathe or being bothered by traffic. But I think if you have that open, if we just simply
Is the third step connected with attention? Proceeding.
everything's connected with attention, Peter. I think that you must have the ability to be able to switch on one-pointed attention when necessary in order to get ahead with that third step. Outer noises don't matter much, do they? The inner noise is the difficult thing. It's the internal eye going on. And I remember 3 or 4 of us went out with the Maharishi to Switzerland, to the top of the Saint-Tron Pass, stayed in that hotel up there. Saint-Tron Kulm, is it, Eddie? Anyway, we went up quite a long way, up to just below a glacier the next day, and we were sitting on the Alp meditating, and it was apparent that somebody was driving a herd of cows through it. But we stuck to it, and afterwards we said to the Maharishi, was there something, Maharishi? Did something happen? And he said, how should we know? How should we know? We didn't get to know that. Now, there is something I know you'd like to hear, getting on at 8:15, and this isn't very long.
I think we'll need a light.
You think I will? I think what I need most is the thing I was going to read. Once there was a rather historic meeting that same year with the Secretary when you and I and Whiting, the head of the recently founded School of Meditation in London, met all together with the Secretariat the first time we all three were together there. At that meeting, Whiting led off with this question. When one starts to meditate, one starts with a sound. But gradually there is less and less sound to the mantra rhythm. It has, however, a substance. One can turn to that substance, go into the substance, become the substance. Would you comment on this? The Shankaracharya, referring to the threefold word, Sat, Chit, Ananda, absolute consciousness bliss, which contains the goal of life and of meditation in a nutshell, said, we have known the word Sat to mean that which is. Whatever is has existence, and that existence is the substance you refer to. But this substance is of two types. One is the immobile, motionless existence, and the other is the mobile existence, motion. The immobile and the mobile forms of existence are known as Purusha and Prakriti, that is, the absolute and the creation. If one experiences any sort of movement in meditation, any sort of sensation, any sort of intake or output, one is still in the world of nature or Prakriti. Meditation is a process designed to take one from movement to non-movement, stability. As long as there is an appreciation of sensation, sight, sound, smell, etc., muscle sense, then one is still separated from the immobile Purusha, the absolute. But that substance is always there, and in meditation, each of us can become one with that substance. And that really answers your question about, could one say what this form of meditation is for? Just my own comment on this idea of existence without motion is strange to us in the West. There are two sides of man's nature, knowledge and being, what he knows and what he is. All the branches of science seek knowledge. To this end, they study nature in motion. Newton formulated the laws of motion. He also had the idea of eternal fluxion, which gave rise to the character. Meditation is not for knowledge. It is for being. It restores the balance between what one knows and what one is, so that one then experiences those flashes of understanding which we enjoy so much and which lead to advancement of mankind in many spheres. the Japanese Zen teachers use a word for existence without motion, which can only be translated as the isness of anything. And Professor Abe Maslow tried to introduce this idea into Western psychology without much success. He sent us a reprint of that paper. But each of us has his or her eternal existence, isness. Each of us is the Absolute, the Purusha. In this sense. So do remember that if ever there's any motion, movement of the mind or body going on in meditation, then one is still not really meditating. Well, have a very happy holiday, and we'll meet again for those who are still here in a month's time.
Yeah.
Which dates have you got?
Yes.
Second Tuesday.
It's the 10th. 10th of August.
10th of August.
Without us saying it.